This is Vicki Gervais of the Greater Gainesville Chamber, and I am the Director of Public Policy and Grassroots Engagement, and I'm delighted to have Charlie Ray Jackson here with me today. He is one of our candidates for the Alachua County Commission, and he is representing District 2. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to jump in, and Charlie's going to tell us a little bit about himself, and then I've got some questions for him, and then we'll wrap up and send us on home after we get a chance to know Charlie Ray a little bit better. So jump right in, Charlie.
Hey, thank you very much. And I want to extend appreciation to the Gainesville Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to be a part of this great opportunity today. I just kind of want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Charlie Ray Jackson. That's the name my mama given, so I got to stick with that. I was raised in Jasper, Hampton County, which is a small town. I grew up in a large family of 12, and I fully understand how you got to do more with less. I graduated from high school and went on to college at Florida A&M University, a Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, where I received a BS degree. While there, I was also commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. Once I left there, I moved into the service, served to retire as a major from the Army. And a couple of things I'd like to highlight that occurred during my experience in the military is, one, I had an opportunity to transport the former Iranian hostages in Europe. I fought with General Sorkov, General Powell, and General McCaffrey over in the Gulf War and played a tremendous role with laying out the logistics. We never fought a war with that many logistics before, so we won it in 100 hours. And of course, in my efforts to continue providing service to people and to the citizens, I relocated here in 2001 and started work as the Alachua County Facilities Manager and / Director. And during that time, I was able to do a host of things that you'll see downtown. I completed approximately 300 projects on time and within budget. I'd like to just talk about a couple of them real fast. One, we produced the very first downtown master space needs for Gainesville. Two, my very first project was completing the construction of the Alachua County Criminal Courthouse. We constructed a new public defender's building, which sits next to the criminal courthouse. Designed and constructed the Kanapahar Freedom Center. Built 5 fire stations, the one in Waldo, Station 23, Hawthorne, Station 25, Downtown Depot, EMS Station 10, Jonesville, Fire Station 17, and the one on 441 and 34th, Fire Station 33, providing the firefighters with a great amount of short response time for needed support. Went on and completed a $5 million jail renovation, which is called the POD. Expanded the Josiah T. Walls building for the property appraiser and the supervisor of elections. I also worked with a committee, a fine group of folks out in the Swag neighborhood, and we renovated the resource center. We opened it up, which provided a lot of service, as well as the health clinic there for citizens in that community who like transportation to get to the health center, which is on the other side of town. Now, I'm going to talk sustainability just for a second, and some things that we're able to accomplish in that arena. One, I want to talk about the needs for solar. We've got to move on and institute renewable sources. One, we did a major jail project. We installed 92 solar panels on the jail. We installed rooftop solar at the county state attorney's building, the Josiah T. Walls building, as well as the records retention, and there are many more that's going to come. From a sustainability standpoint, and environment is very, very significant, very important. We did a complete relamping of all the county buildings, saving about $221,000 annually. And we introduced an icon. We were the very first county to institute an icon water reduction project at the county jail, making it one of the most energy efficient, sustainable jails in this country. As a result of putting that in, we conserved approximately 17 million gallons of water annually. That's probably enough water to support a subdivision. In doing that, and in keeping with working for our taxpayers, we process rebates to Gainesville utilities to a tune of about $220,000, of which the board was supportive to allow us to reinvest those dollars into other energy reduction projects. Now, on the public service side, I also like to share with you that I'm the board chair for the Caring and Sharing Learning School, which is rated as an A this year, and it's also been rated under one of the best schools in the country. I also the founder of Manhood Youth Development Foundation here in Gainesville for at-risk students. Each November, I serve on a committee that coordinates the annual Colonel Charles Young Veterans Breakfast, which reaches out to the veterans. Now, I bring a global perspective to the board if elected. And why do I say that? I say that because I've served in 5 countries. I've lived in 6 states. I've worked for the private side as well as the public side. So I clearly know how to stretch those dollars and help lead the county in a more sustainable way. I do not believe that if the county continue to move the way it's going now, it's not sustainable. And I want to talk about briefly here some of the other things I was able to accomplish while we were going through.
Let's jump in. I want to make sure that we get all of the questions in, and it'll give you a chance to kind of tie your experience to what you want to do as a commissioner. So let me jump in with question 1, and then if there's anything we don't cover, you'll have time at the end. Okay, so the first question is, what are the 3 most important concerns facing the county right now?
I would say, first of all, is the county will currently faced with maintaining a service level with the existing dollars. We can't tax our way out of this. We've got to be able to come up with some creative ways to provide services for citizens. For an example, one is our transportation. We have roads that are completely torn up. We're trying to build roads, and not maintaining roads will result in safety problems. 2, our county buildings. Majority of them are aging, they're old, and they need renovating. Likewise, I don't suggest we go out and build a lot of new things until we're really able to operate those buildings within our existing budget. And I'm not for raising taxes. I think it's not what's coming from the taxpayers, it's what we're doing with the money. And I just think that funds through master planning, we can better utilize them. So those are 2 of the things I think are significant. I think the other piece is going to be to the veterans is ensuring that we have programs. We have the largest veterans hospital in terms of service in the Southeast United States. We got to ensure that all of our veterans are given an opportunity to provide their families and themselves with good, solid health care. So I think those are some of the three top that's in the county right now. And then, of course, I'll close out with this question. You hear me going back to this on and on, different times, different places, is that we do not have a master plan. And that compounds the issues because we want to grow as a county. We can't have an east side plan or west side plan or north or south. We need one county master plan that incorporates all of our municipalities, involve the stakeholders, take the VA, Santa Fe, county, city, the businesses, everybody got to come to the table and we lay out a master plan. I can do that. I've done that a long time ago in the military. I know how to do it. I know how to look out 5 and 10 years. And the current 2 years, yeah, I agree. Those 2 years appropriation of budget should be handled by the manager. That's why we hire managers. The elected officials, I would like to carry the county in a different direction. And that direction is to ensure that we're looking out 5, 10, 15 years so that we bring all these stakeholders to the table. We can clearly lay out what should be slow growth, what should be fast growth, and how it all connects. So that the school in 5 years, the school district will know, oh, we need to build 5 schools. Why? Well, because the plan calls for a certain number of population within this perspective. Okay, what of our developers are doing? As they're bringing in these developments, we need to ensure that we request the developers to join in and follow the master plan, comprehensive plan, so that when they're building homes, we will not have traffic congestions. If you look for an example, this is a simple indicators. One is, if you look at Newberry Road today, it's traffic all day long. If you take a look at Archer Road, traffic all day long. we're seriously having traffic congestions going east and going west. There's very little trafficability to move traffic north and south. And if we don't get out in front of this and do some long range planning as we bring a neighborhoods on the west side of town, which is booming, we're going to have a tremendous problem facing us if we don't take those appropriate actions.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, that's a good lead into the next question, which is, what do you think the role of the county commission is in the community?
That's a very good question. That's a very, very good question. First of all, I feel that the county role should be serving the citizen. That's first. The county should have a means of clearly providing citizens with access to the government. The government is designed to be service to the citizen, not the citizen provide service to the county. That's the first thing. The second thing, as an elected body, is that the county has the responsibility to ensure that the citizens are protected during calm time and also protected during emergencies and disasters. The county board is also responsible for providing all constitutional officers with what? With space, adequate space, so that they can provide the services driven by the governor down to the citizen. For an example, we got to have a jail. We know that because we got to provide safe and security for inmates. We got to have animal services so that we can control animals. All right. We got to provide a person who collects the taxes. That's a tax collector. We got to provide a tax collector with adequate space. Right. So the property appraiser got to go out and we got to provide the property appraiser with sufficient space so that they can do their job along with law enforcement. Now, law enforcement sometimes take a licking. Okay. But as citizens, we got to join in with GPD. We got to bring the sheriff to the table, and we got to bring these community organizations, and let's figure out how can we best serve the citizens within our organization. Now, courts, civil, family, and criminal. From court's perspective, we got to provide adequate space. Those are the things that the commissioners are primarily responsible for, including ensuring that on an annual basis, the budget is appropriated to those constitutional officers so that they can do their job in an efficient manner. And that's one of my first items on the agenda is I want to ensure that all of our constitutional officers are not coming downtown fighting for what they need to do their job to serve our people. So that's kind of answer to that question. Okay,
terrific. All right, now an opportunity to talk a little bit more about what you'd like to do, which is what would be your top priorities and projects if you're elected?
Projects?
Yep, projects and priorities. What would you want to do first?
The very first thing I would like to do is to listen to our constitutional officers, listen to our department directors, because they get a lot, that's where the rubber meets the road. I like to have town hall meetings so we can hear the citizen provide us with their input, because they can help fix some of the issues that we're faced with, because they know what they like to have, and they can also tell you the level of service that we're providing to the citizen. So the first project I would like to dive into is that the budget. Let's ensure that we can provide services without raising taxes. And I clearly believe that the county receives adequate funding to run all of the functions that we're assigned to do as an organization. It's not the money, it's how we're allocating the money, it's how we're using the money. We've got to get smarter, we've got to get smarter, and we've got to get faster, and we've got to create ways that we can provide the services to all these constitutional officers without raising taxes. I'm not for raising taxes. Taxes is high, and we can't tax our way out of this thing.
Okay, very good. Okay, now I have a little more specific question. We have two amendments that are going to appear on the November ballot. One is the to vote on single member districts, and the other one, and you've touched on this a little bit, I think, the other one is an infrastructure sales tax, which would pony on to the wild spaces, public places, and be devoted to roads for the most part. What is your position on these two amendments?
Could you give it? Can you give me the first one again?
The first one's the single member districts.
Huh. I am 100% against it.
Okay.
I think what it, and I could go and just share a little bit. I feel that a citizen on the west side of town can benefit by having diversity. A single member district could, in some respect, reduce that based upon the district boundaries. So that in the long run can be a bad thing. And that's kind of where I will answer it, is I'm against it.
Okay, very good. And then the infrastructure sales tax?
Okay, that's a good one, right? In my travels, I've seen I've seen that happen in a lot of different states and a lot of different cities. And I believe and I feel that I would support it. I would support it providing there's a plan. I don't support giving up tax money when there's no plan. You know, for an example, the 1 cent sales tax was the very first project that I started on when I got to Gainesville in 2001. We made a promise to the citizen that we will build that building, we will open that building, and it will be on time and it will be within budget. We achieved both of them. We brought it in on the budget and we brought it in on time.
Yeah.
Now,
that's the Alachua County Courthouse for people that don't remember.
That's
Yep.
correct. The Alachua County
Yep.
Criminal Courthouse. That's correct. So yeah, I'm with it if we have a plan. For an example, let's say there's a backlog of $600 million of road work to be done. Okay. With that should be, okay, well, that 600 million, how much of that 600 million is for resurfacing, maintenance, new roads? And based upon that, okay, we know there's no way that contractors, and we can close all the roads at one time to do work. It's just not going to happen. So it become a time matter. Okay. If you were given $600 million today, where would you start tomorrow? Those kind of questions, I think we got to put before we got to answer those questions before we ask folks to dig deeper in their pockets, because we're already being taxed, and you can't tax our way to success. We got to plan this thing out logically. We got to determine along the way in increments what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and how much it's going to cost. So those are things I'm accustomed to, and I bring that level of detail, that level of organization to the board. And then, well, we knew back in 2000, 2001, what the estimated cost of that courthouse was going to be. I have yet to see a document that clearly lays out where the county is going in the next 5 to 10 years. So those are some of the things that I would really like to see before we start asking citizens to give up more money, you know, when it's already a high tax base that exists. Now, I can tell you that, yes, the roads are bad. We got county buildings that are aging and crumbling, and we've got additional costs out there, and it's growing every day. My point is there is no pipeline that you can look down and see the direction that the county is going. So my biggest concern is to, upon election, is to reach out to the citizen and reach out to the other commissioners, and let's land this plane, not try to repair it in the air. Let's land it. And then let's lay out a sustainable plan that's going to get us through the next 5 to 10 years. And that will in turn, I believe, restore trust in the government, you know, and without that trust, I don't believe it's going to pass. We got to work. What we tell the citizens we're going to do, we got to do it. And it's been my experience in my 300 projects that I've done in Alachua County since 2001. All of them came in on time, and all of them came in within budget because of effective planning, effective organizing, effective tasking, and effective supervision.
Okay, very good. Okay, so one final question for you, and that is, why should members of the business community vote for you?
Hey, I've been on the private side as well as well on the public side, and I believe in growth. I believe in people working hard to earn a living. I believe if we support the businesses, it comes back to you in different ways. We then create jobs for skilled and unskilled people. I've worked with businesses since 2001. I've worked with pretty much 85% of the contractors in Alachua County. And we got some very, very good contractors out there. And we got some very good business folks who are out there as well. And I think they bring an additional level of expertise to the table, which the county really needs real bad. So without having these businesses to come aboard, it's going to hurt both organizations. It hurts the business, it hurts the county, and it hurts the community. So bringing folks together through effective collaboration, we can do things and improve the quality of life for all citizens. When I say all citizens within Alachua County. We talk about affordable housing, excuse me. We can't provide affordable housing if we do not have adequate income for those some of our finest students that are graduating from high school or leaving this area because we have failed to plan for them. You fail to plan for them, so they leave. No, I'm saying we should comprise of a community that provides the best education, provides jobs, provide transportation, provide great medical services, and of course, have a plan for growth. To give an example, often we will experience an indicator when people show up in the boardroom and complain about a school being built on the west side of town. You say, why is that? It's happening because there's no plan. We should know in 5 years, we're going to grow in let's say the southeast sector of the county. With that should be the planning, the infrastructure, and it should be time phase sequence so that we can measure success. A school being built overnight is an indicator of poor planning. Now, schools are needed because of what? People. People are moving in. Why are people moving in? Because it's growth. It's developers making things happen. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But as a county and as an organization, our role as elected officials, when I get elected, because I'm getting elected, would be to get out in front and plan effectively for the citizen. Not 2 years. If you're planning 2 years out, you're failing. Each year, you're going to continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole. I would like to be a part of effective planning, moving all the municipalities in this plan so that we won't have this lopsided organization that we got now. We want to bring it so that it somewhat levels out, so that in 5 years, what do? We got growth growing in southeast Alachua County. Well, you're going to need schools. You're going to need roads. You're going to need medical support. You're going to need law enforcement. Okay, all of those things are going to do what? They're going to drive additional one-time costs and ongoing operating costs. And how are we going to get that? Our tax base is very, very tight. And to come on top of that and say, let's put in the sales tax, let's add more on the backs of the citizens. I mean, when I go out to the shopping centers and I'm talking to citizens, they are all complaining and crying about Alachua County having the highest tax base. People are losing their homes. You get into this area of stabilization in the neighborhood. Folks who can't pay their taxes are losing homes. And some of that is simply indicators of the elected officials who are not necessarily understanding the big picture. And the big picture for elected officials, we got to get out there and plan the future for our citizens. Keep them in the loop, but we got to get our head around what Gainesville will look like if we continue to get 1,000 individuals come across the Florida line every day. Guess what? They're no longer docking in Miami. They're no longer docking in Orlando. We're getting a large percentage of those folks coming south into Alachua County and Marion County. So we've got a plan for that and project out, you know, consolidate some of our smartest, brightest folks in all the municipalities, including the city of Gainesville. And let's then build some scenarios of if this continue to grow like it's growing, we're going to grow. And when we grow, we're going to have to increase what? We're going to have to increase law enforcement. We've got to increase the jail. You're going to increase fire services, all those services that are driving and driven pretty much from property tax will be serving those particular. Now, understand that through the gas tax and transportation, all of that, yep, get it, I get it. It ain't enough. It's not going to be enough to handle the increase in growth. So we got to get smart on this thing and sort out and figure out our way, not to 2023, but to 2033. And then we can talk about what needs to come in place and when. For an example.
Okay, Charlie, we got about 1 minute or so left. So you can finish your thought, or if you have something else you want to summarize with, but bring us on home now.
Got it. Do it real fast. Okay, I got 5 things I'm doing, Vicki, that I want to run on. One is fund mandated programs for all the constitutional officers. I want to take care of them first because they have a direct work with the citizen. 2, I want to enhance healthcare services for first responders and veterans. Thirdly, I want to help bring jobs, boost job opportunities and job training programs for high school students as well as adults. I want to invest into youth centers. We have no place for young people to go, so they tend to ride by and do shooting, right? We have no place for our elderly folks to go. Our elderly folks should have more senior centers that they can go to that has sufficient transportation. And then last, the 5th, I'm going to put my hand on this one now.
Okay.
That is to create a sustainable countywide master growth plan. And that would drive us into the future. And I just want to thank you all for giving me an opportunity to be a part of your interviews.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It was great having this time with you today. And I do want to emphasize what Charlie Ray said in some ways, which is we're committed here to make sure every voice is heard here in our region. And so please keep an eye on our website, GainesvilleChamber.com. We're going to have all the information you need about the candidates and the deadlines and what you need to know so you can get out and make your voice heard by voting August 23rd, Tuesday, right around the corner. So thank you again, Charlie Ray. Great talking with you, and have a great time on the trail until August.
Thank you.
Thank you.